Most of us enjoy a nice warm bowl of macaroni and cheese, and surely none of us would turn down a bowl of vanilla ice cream. French fries seem to be a staple on American lunch plates, and creme brulee is a treat that we enjoy on special occasions. We can thank James Hemings for making these dishes staples in American dining. Hemings, our nation's first classically trained chef de cuisine, introduced French cuisine, meringues, whipped cream, and many other foods that we take for granted to our dinner plates. Today, February the 6th, 2023, Lyle Station Historic Schoolhouse and Museum recognizes the culinary achievements and contributions of James Hemings, born a slave in 1765. While Hemings' name is not familiar, his sister Sally Hemings is more recognized as being Thomas Jefferson's mistress, with both James and Sally half-siblings of Jefferson's wife. Jefferson, the third president of the United States, is generally credited with introducing French cuisine to Americans, but James Hemings was the chef who made all of that possible. President George Washington sent Thomas Jefferson to France to serve as commerce minister for the newly formed United States in 1784, and Jefferson took 19-year-old James with him to France. James had primarily served as Jefferson's personal attendant and barber, but he had a different purpose on this trip. James was to learn the art of French cuisine. When they first arrived in France, James had to arrange both transportation and accommodations for the Jefferson entourage. Although he did not speak French at the time, he succeeded in this first task abroad. 3 years of study and an apprenticeship later, he became Jefferson's chef de cuisine at his home on the Champs-Élysées. James hired a tutor so that he could learn French, completely immersing himself in French cuisine and culture. James Hemings was fluent in both English and French, both written and spoken, during a time literacy was denied to non-whites. After all, he was the first American trained as a French chef, and he studied under the best, including taking classes from a master pastry chef. Jefferson invited European writers, scientists, and royalty to dinner that James prepared. Although Jefferson's slave at Monticello in France, James was a free man. In 1789, Jefferson returned to the United States and was appointed as the first Secretary of State and sent to New York and then Philadelphia. The return to the States meant a return to slavery, which Hemings agreed to after he and Jefferson had negotiated special terms and privileges in return, staying with Jefferson as his cook and valet. Jefferson promised Hemings his freedom if he would train his successor, his brother Peter. Hemings returned to Monticello with Jefferson in 1794, saw a transformation in dining and in the kitchen where a new multi-burner stew stove was installed. Granted his freedom, he left in 1796, a free man with $30, roughly $675 today. He found work as a chef in Baltimore, Philadelphia, and Europe. Most of us take macaroni and cheese for granted, but in Hemings' time, it was a dish only served to the wealthy, for it required imported pasta, imported cheese, rich cream, and butter. That box of Kraft mac and cheese pales in comparison. We can thank Hemings for bringing us that rich, creamy pasta experience. Even the modern-day stoves we employ in our kitchens can be traced back to James Hemings, who brought the idea of the pottage stew stove from France. He persuaded Jefferson to have this system installed at Monticello, making food preparation much easier. One particular dish associated with Hemings is snow eggs, a classic French dessert featuring small poached meringues floating in a rich custard sauce. Perhaps Hemings served this at the dinner Jefferson hosted in June 1790, the dinner table bargain designed to reconcile Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson, who had been bitter enemies. This dinner, although not its preparation, is depicted in the stage play Hamilton. Jefferson tried to persuade Hemings to serve as the chef de cuisine at the President's house in 1801, but was only successful in hiring him to cook for 2 months at Monticello as a paid chef in August. 2 months later, after leaving Monticello, James committed suicide. Whether it comes while enjoying a fancy dinner with snow eggs, a mountain of whipped cream on our pumpkin pie, or a simple bowl of ice cream, we should raise a French fry in honor of James Hemings. We all owe a debt of culinary gratitude to this extraordinary chef.